It is embarrassing to be a woman and not be beautiful. It is shameful for a woman to put effort into being beautiful. It is humiliating for a woman to try and fail to be beautiful. It is unforgivable for a woman to put her health at risk in order to be beautiful.
Action. What is beauty? What is beauty? I know society has expectations of what is considered beautiful or what's pretty and like what everyone should aspire to look like and be. And I know not everyone obviously fits into those beauty standards. Like, I know for a fact that I do not fit into societal beauty standards. I don't know. Like, what is beauty? Why is beauty so important for our society? Why is it something that, like, we care so much about? Like, why do we hold beauty in such high regard when it's such a superficial thing? I've just been thinking about the idea of beauty recently, a lot recently. I was just curious what other people have to say, especially within the Westtown community, how societal beauty standards affect their everyday lives, and if it's like any different outside of Westtown, or if they experience anything differently. Yeah. Cut.
What is your idea of beauty?
I think beauty is often defined by European standards. I think it's a common answer from a lot of people, but it's honestly true. And actually, when I was younger, when I thought of beauty, that was just subconsciously what I thought of, and I was always trying to go for that standard when that was virtually impossible because I'm not European. But I think when I got older and I started talking with people who were more diverse in their cultures and stuff like that, it just takes time to embrace, that part of you, of who you are. But I mean, I feel like beauty is something that's in everyone. Beauty is something that doesn't have to be defined by anything other than yourself, and it just really can't be compared with anything else.
And thoughts as like you had when you were younger?
Yes. She has she definitely does this. I think she's trying to combat this with her new love of makeup, which I'm not okay with that, but she's like taken up this thing, and it's just like a way for her to increase her self-esteem, but also because she has like different shaped eyes than I do, but like it's more traditionally Asian or whatever people say. But I think that was something. I think her eyes were definitely something that affected her a lot because the little white kids would be like, "Oh, can you see out of your eyes?" And she'd be like, "Bitch, of course I can." I guess I'm trying to. Every time I look in the mirror, I'm trying to be like, you know what? I'm not gonna compare myself with what I think is supposed to be pretty. I'm gonna be like, "Hey, you cute, like in that mirror, I see you." Like that's good. It's good. That's such an awkward question I ask. A lot of people are really starting to embrace who they are, which is really cheesy. But as I said, I would always try to be like the little white girls running around, and that wasn't too great on my self-esteem because that would just it was unattainable, you know. But now I'm just trying to embrace that there's something that it's just something that you can't change. So you gotta live with it. You gotta accept it, and then you gotta realize that it's okay to be different.
People are strange when you're a stranger. Faces look ugly when you're alone. Women seem wicked when you're unwanted. Streets are uneven.
No, I definitely do not find myself conventionally pretty at all. I think like in terms of like my identity, I think Latina women in general are thought of as like are seen as like very beautiful and like very sexy and like I don't know, it's very degrading a lot of the times when we're in the media. But because I don't see myself in that way, I don't think I'm in that sense conventionally like beautiful as like the Latina standard. And in terms of like beauty as in like white women are pretty much idolized in terms of beauty standards. I think in features wise, like my hair is like silky and like smooth and all that, so it could be seen as more idealistic. So I think in some facets I do fit into the more feature-wise what is thought of as beautiful, but I think and altogether I don't think so. Yes, I think beauty anywhere in terms of physical attributes plays a big part in a lot of things, in terms of social dynamic, in terms of who your friends are, in terms of how well you fit into the community. I think generally speaking, if one person is quirky, it helps if that person is considered attractive. While other times if you're quirky and not seen as attractive, then it really debilitates social standing and stuff like that, because there is a social hierarchy at Westtown, and I find that the people who are most beautiful are usually at the top. I think it's sad to a certain extent if you like find yourself horribly ugly, but I think in terms of society-wise, I think it's expected for them to say that they're not pretty, because then like humility, then it's seen as like being humble. While if you like are saying like, yeah, no, I'm hot, then like it could definitely be portrayed as you being like stuck up and pretentious.
Yeah, I would say yes. I mean, cause it took like a while for me to like accept, I guess, who I am. Especially since we live in a society where it seems like women are not supposed to love who they are, especially black women. But I would say, yeah, conventionally I'm beautiful.
Do you think the media influences how we think of beauty?
Yes, all the time, all the time. I'm sick and tired of seeing Kim Kardashian's butt everywhere. I'm sick and tired of seeing Kylie Jenner's lips everywhere. I'm sick and tired of seeing pretty much like white skin glorified all the time. So I would say it definitely does, because in like magazines I see a lot more white models than models of color, and I know there are models of color out there, but because those are seen a lot more, then it builds the standard of what beauty is, and I think that negatively affects our society all the time. Some people are like shocked to see how confident I am, sort of, or like kind of don't know how to react to it, but like I don't want their reaction. I don't really care about like what anyone thinks. So I feel like when you walk around like a certain way with a lot of confidence, you know, you show people that you love yourself and you're not ashamed of that, they kind of take that as like, oh, like she's feeling herself, okay, conceited much. And it's not really conceit, it's just self-love, which I think is important for everyone to have.
Do you think it's hard for the dating scene for like black women here because of like beauty standards and stuff like that?
Oh, definitely. Here, everyone notices too,
not a lot of the black girls are like dating people here. And some people take it as like, oh, they're not dating. But then I know some people who take it as, oh, well, black girls act a certain way. Don't group black girls into one group, like we're all different. And not only that, I think it is based on the fact that, black women, most black women are confident. They love themselves. That's seen as like a threat all the time. No matter where we are, it's seen as a threat. But here I feel like since we don't look a certain way, we don't have thick straight hair, it's not blonde, and we like to wear our hair in whatever way we want to, I think that's definitely seen here. Preschool, elementary school, and part of middle school at that school district near my home, and my friends were all white, and at the time, like, I was little, so I was like, oh, just friends, but like, now that I'm older, I think back to when I would ask my mom, like, hey mom, can I like wear my hair this way instead? But she'd say like, no, like you can't really wear your hair that way because that's not how your hair works. Or mom, like, why am I too dark? Because lots of them would say certain things about people with darker skin, or they just say straight up racist things. So at the time, like, I was never aware of like why I felt that way, but like now that I'm older, I think back at it and I really did look down on myself a lot. But I think that's kind of an issue at a lot of white institutions.
I think that someone is, I guess, beautiful when they accept themselves. I don't know, I think that self-acceptance and self-love is a process, and to find somebody that is really at peace with themselves and their insecurities and things that make them, I don't know, feel uncomfortable about themselves, that's beauty. Like, that's really cool. You sent me this question before and I was still like, oh my god, I don't know how I'm gonna answer this. I don't know, I mean, in some ways I do fit the standards of like conventional beauty because I'm an able-bodied, like, cis person, and then in other ways I don't, or just don't fit the standards of beauty. Like, I don't shave my legs, and I don't know, my hair's cut, like, differently than the long, like, luscious goddess hair, that is the, I think, conventional standard of beauty. I don't know, it's difficult to have, like, to determine one set standard of especially physical beauty, but I don't really feel like I'm in it. I don't know. I don't have a problem with the current standard of beauty. I don't think that's like unbeautiful, but just the fact that it's so limited is, I think, what makes it so negative. Because if you grow up and you only see one ideal of what beauty should look like for example, being like white or blonde hair with blue eyes and like skinny and cis, then you start to internalize that and you start to, I don't know, if you don't see yourself represented, then it's difficult to think of yourself as beautiful. I mean, there's this stereotype of like Asian women being a fetish and being submissive, and in a way that is like Susie Kwan and stuff like that. And so I think that is a different standard. I don't think that it's positive or a healthy one, but I mean, I definitely have thought of myself as being different from my friends. The first like romantic relationship I was in, the person after I realized said behind my back, like, because he also like after that had a crush on a quarter Asian girl. He was like, oh, I think I have a thing for like small, like basically submissive Asian girls. And I'm like, oh my god. I was just so grossed out. So on one hand, it's like, oh, well, I mean, I might not be considered like necessarily ugly, but it's not like, it's not positive either. And I feel like I often have to pick and choose between either being like a fetish or being like totally on the margins of like what beauty is.
What is your idea of beauty?
I mean, in general, for me, beauty is just like someone being authentic to themselves. Like, I feel like the idea of beautiful is just to be like the person who you're supposed to be. Like, for me, I feel beautiful personally when I'm wearing, you know, the kind of clothing that I feel comfortable in and the kind of makeup that I like to wear, and you know, when I have my hair down and curly, which is how I like it. And that's what makes me feel beautiful. And I also kind of feel like beauty is entirely self-perceived. Like, I feel like someone can't tell you, well, that isn't beautiful. I feel like you have to understand what is beautiful for you, and that's the only factor that can decide that. Conventional beauty is like, in my opinion, kind of inherently trans-exclusive. Like, I feel like conventional beauty applies to white cis girls and no one else. And it's just the idea of wearing the clothes that everyone else is wearing and wearing the makeup the way that everyone else is wearing and having your hair the same way. And I feel like that goes against what beauty actually is. Sometimes, no matter what I do, it could be looked at as not beautiful, regardless of what I do, just because I'm not cis.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was trying so hard to seem like masculine and shit like that, so that it wouldn't look, so that I wouldn't stand out.
Yeah.
Like, for the same reason, it was like I was trying really hard to fit someone else's standard of me so that I wouldn't stand out. And it took me till I was like 15 to realize, hey, I can stand out, I can be myself. Beauty comes from the person, like, it's in the eyes of the beholder, but at the same time, it's in the eyes of the beheld. Like, a person achieves beauty just by being themselves and by being what they perceive as beautiful. And I think, at least how I look at it, and how I think a lot of other people look at it, it's just like, if you see someone really being who they are and how they want to be, like, that's inherently beautiful. And I feel like that's what beauty really is.
Cool.